What's going on, everybody? Gonna wait a few minutes, till about a little after 6 for people in, and then we'll begin from there. Thank you, Moose, for updating that. Before we do start, I'm just gonna step away really quick. Just wanted to say hello to get some water, and I'll be right back. Turn up the volume. Okay, yeah, I could do that. Hello. Is the sound any better, or should I turn it up a little? It's good. Okay, cool. Yeah, so get a couple minutes. Just turning 6 right now. So we'll be doing the draft today, guys. Congratulations to all the rookies that are going to be drafted today for an A draft. You guys don't know, I'm Pazuzu, also known as Philip J. Fry, of the Voyagers, and I'll be doing the draft today. I'll also have some guests coming in to speak lined up for right now. So, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, definitely more than welcome to type anything in the chat. I'll be watching. And like I said, just about a few more minutes just to get some more people in case, since the time was 6 o'clock. Hello? Okay, so we're gonna have the first guest join us, and it's gonna be Waldo today, right before the draft does start. First pick is in. Okay. So before we do talk about that, do have a couple of pieces of information that I have. I do have some cards that we made. So first pick is going to be the Aviators. It looks like as of right now, their pitching, their batting isn't the best. So it looks like they do need to improve in all areas. Hey, Waldo, can you hear me?
Yep, I've
Okay.
arrived.
Okay, sounds good. How you doing?
Good.
That's good. And then continue on from there. Vandal's going to have the second pick in the first round. It looks like they pretty much need improvement in all areas too, in pitching and batting, since they were ranked last. Then after that, we'll be going to the Sloths with the third pick they got from the Voyagers. Pretty much led the league in everything except for ERA for pitching. So we'll see exactly what goes on. The Vandals have the first pick. Oh, it is? Oh, I'm sorry about that. And then the Scorpions follow after that. And then going out through the last round would be the Crabs, who led the league in pitching, and then the Voyagers, who are just average in everything. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize that, and I apologize about that. And then pretty much, from there, we'll go to the draft board. So, Waldo, who do you think is going to be going first overall?
Who has the first? The first pick was Vancouver, wasn't it?
Yeah, Vancouver. It was my bad. I messed up the draft a little bit, and then
Yeah. You said that, and I was like, wait a minute. Oh, this sounds wrong.
no, yeah,
They don't really have a. They have needs all around the board. So I can see them going really anywhere here. I can see them going for pitching and hitting at the same time. So it's kind of unexpected what they would go for here. Oh, they did. I believe they did sign 2 pitchers in free agency earlier this week. So we still don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the Vandals could go for anything really. They, after winning a lot of the titles recently, a lot of the players that were on those teams did step off for a while, so they could go play for other teams. I guess they got tired of winning or whatever. No, but I'm just joking in regards to that. But, they are looking for young players to build around right now. So I guess any position really would be needed. And there was a mistake here. Sorry about that. I'll fix that right now. And there we go. So I guess it should be time for the first pick, the announcement of the first pick. And with the Vandals' first selection in the Season A draft, they select Barry Keller, starting pitcher, going to the Vandals first. So he is off the board. And now we are talking about the Aviators in the first round. Now, looking at their stats at the cards down below, looks like their pitching is not that bad. They have a good couple young guns. They signed Wozy last year, who did well. Banks is probably one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher on their team. And they do have a good young pitcher in Faulkner, too. So I feel like, maybe they might not focus on pitching and they could focus more on batting, since that seems like it is more of a need. Well, what do you think, Waldo?
I think they will go with hitting. Of course, it's the obvious option. You want to have the most complete team you can. But I do want to reflect on the previous pick, the first overall pick, the Vandals, which was kind of a surprise to me because they did sign 2 starting pitchers in free agency. That they took another pitcher coming out of the draft who I haven't really done anything with any of the players yet, so I don't know how active some of them are, stuff like that. But I believe that this might be a good pick for Vancouver, and that might get them a solid, maybe number one, number two pitching staff in the future. So I believe that could help. But with the second pick, I do believe that they will go with hitting. Of course, it's the obvious option. If they have a good
Yeah.
pitching staff, they're not going to go with another pitcher unless you really believe in one of the players.
No, yeah. I mean, definitely based on the stats for the Aviators and their most previous season, it seems like something that they should be focusing on pretty hard right now. And it looks like we did receive that pick as well for the second pick in the season 8 draft. The Aviators selected another starting pitcher, Alyssa Elliott, being drafted this time. So, what do you think about that pick?
That's surprising to me.
Yeah, it's surprising to me as well. I thought that, you know, it seems like they probably would have went with a batter, but I know they did sign Connor McDonald, who is probably going to fill in the holes in the batting. They do have a pretty active infield as well as their outfield, even though it may not be the best productive wise, but I guess you can never get enough starting pitchers as it is. So
Yes.
I mean, at this point, I guess they're going to be banking on trying to build up that bullpen as much as they can. And then with the third pick, we have the sloths. So it seems like the sloths right now, they don't really have many needs. So what do you think they're gonna do with this pick? Where do you think they're gonna go? Like just
Well,
best available?
the Sloths did win the World Series this year, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So, and I don't remember if they had any departing free agents. I don't think they did, or that any key departing free agents. Um, so I think I don't really know who. I don't. Let me check. I'm trying to look on right now who's still on the board
Hmm.
because I am struggling right now.
A lot of people in their drafts, it looked like Colton Hagan was rated pretty high. It looked like Frederick Birdington was also rated pretty high by some people in regards to starting pitching. For infielders, um, I did see Arbonisipi Jr. rated very highly up there, along with
Yeah.
Joshua Linton and Ulysses Rove. Some of them are returning players as well, and then it
Although
seems like
I don't believe if you say his name won't go as high as people are saying it'll go. How high he'll go. I think he's gonna drop a bit more, maybe to about the fifth or sixth pick. So I feel like some people might be because he's an active player, but we don't know how good he's gonna be.
yeah, that is true. I mean, that's the thing that you're pretty much getting here with the draft. It is pretty up for the toss, with these players. A lot of them either, if they are returning players, then it's nice because like the activity level might be there. But with new, people joining the PBE league, then it's definitely something that is going to be difficult.
It's
And
coin toss.
yeah, it is pretty much just a coin toss at this point. And it looks like we did receive word of the third pick that has gone through for the slots. And it looks like they have selected Yellow Boy Euchre. Hopefully, I am saying that name right. Right fielder. So, what do you think about this pick? You got any sort of insight about this?
I can't find him, so I don't know anything about him.
No. Okay. Here, let me
I'm trying
pull
to
up
find him
his.
right now. I'm looking through
Okay.
as
Yes.
much as I can.
Yeah, so let's pull up that information and take a look at what's going on here. For Yellow Boy Euchre, third pick going to the slots. So, looks like we got a power hitter with a strong arm fielder. I mean, I guess you can never go wrong with a power hitter. It's always nice having,
Yeah,
a big heavy power bat in the middle of the lineup, especially if you have somebody like Julian O'Sullivan, somebody like that behind Julian O'Sullivan, and the rest of the team that just they're able to produce runs pretty much from anywhere in that lineup. So
of
I
course.
feel
This,
like
this only makes him better.
yeah, pretty much, pretty much at this point, any pick that they do have will make them better. Um,
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
no, it's fine. Now, from what I'm looking at, hold on a second. I do apologize. I believe I saw something in the chat about somebody saying that the second round is wrong. Is that
Someone was
not
talking
correct?
about how the 7th pick got. Like, you saw something in Discord or something like that.
Okay, because this is the information I got from the website that was posted on there, and it's pretty much as it should have been. I'm not sure if it was. I don't see that it was updated, so I do apologize if it is incorrect. If it is, can someone just send me like a PM or something? I do apologize about that if it is. Um, and then now for the fourth pick for this round. For the first round, we have the Death Valley Scorpions coming up. Death Valley made the playoffs this year. Okay, no, that's fine. Sorry about that. Snoo, Sue. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that. It's all good. But yeah, Death Valley made the playoffs this year. Just snuck in to have the Voyagers by like a game. That was a pretty tight race right at the end. And now, it looks like their batting's doing really well, especially with their, the top of the lineup that they got with, you know, all the stolen bases they get with Ziggy Coffey and everything like that. They led the league. I think they had 178 stolen bases compared to OBX, who was in second place and only had 120. So I feel like maybe they might go for like a power bat behind like Min Jo Du or Di Stefano to help like bring in those runs. Or they could go pitching since it seems like the pitching was the worst aspect of their team with the ERA and their opponent average being sort of low compared to the batting. What do you think? Where do you think they're gonna go?
I think they should go power. I don't know if there's any good power people left on the board. I feel like they might have been waiting for the previous player who was taken. That would have probably been their best choice. But right now they might just have to go with power or normal, just a hitter to get. Because if they can only hit, if they can only run and only hit for contact, that's not going to get you far, which we saw previously in the World Series.
Yeah, they did make it. They made it as the wild card team, played against the Crabs in the series. They lost, in the first round. Congrats on, both the teams for making the playoffs and the Sloths for, winning the World Series as well. I just want to say that now because I forgot to say it before. But, I feel like a lot of the teams, pretty much besides the Sloths, there are specific areas where they could focus on to improve more. I feel like the Scorpions, they do have big middle lineup bats with, like I said, with Di Stefano and with Min Jun Do. But I feel like they could also use another big bat in the lineup, even if it is a younger player, because sooner or later, those first season people are gonna hit regression, and then it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
another battle from there. You know.
Yeah.
So it looks like we did receive the fourth pick for Death Valley, and it looks like we received that they're taking another starting pitcher in this round, and it's going to be Frederick Birdington, going forth to Death Valley. Welcome to Death Valley, Frederick. So, what do you think about this pick? You think they made the right move going pitcher?
Well, I don't. Again, I don't have the board with me, but there might have not been a top power hitting guy up on their board. They might have just been like, oh, we can get a guy in the second round or the third round. Let's just go ahead and go with starting pitcher. Like, we know this guy, we interviewed this guy, we like him. He's, cool or whatever. So we know that he's going to be active, he's going to play well for us. So we'll take him, and then second or third round, we'll go power. That might be what they're thinking. Makes the most sense, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I could definitely see that. It is kind of a little bit unusual, but with the starting pitchers, like I said before, there's nothing you can really do to go wrong drafting a starting pitcher, especially early. Sometimes with a fielder, you're kind of limited. With a pitcher, you could bring them up early to use them in the bullpen. You could also,
Yeah.
throw them into the starting rotation if you do want to trade and try to get more draft picks, like if you're going through like a rebuild. But I feel like for Death Valley right now, they do have the abilities to challenge in the playoffs and for the title, based on what we saw from last season from them. And hopefully, Frederick Birdington can definitely, contribute to that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry, you got
Good
something
pick.
else? Yeah.
No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so then the next pick we have would be the fifth draft pick from the Crabs. The Crabs led the league pretty much in every pitching statistic that I could find in the standings. Their pitching was pretty much bar none. And it looks like what struggled the most was their batting. So at this point, it definitely seems like hopefully we'll get another fielder with this pick in the first round. What do you think? You think we'll get another fielder?
Yeah, they're gonna go for. They're most likely gonna go for a fielder. Although I feel like they won't aim for power because they did have the third most. They did have good power. I feel
Hmm.
like they might go for average and contact here,
No,
as
yeah,
long as there's a high person up on the board. Sorry, go ahead.
no, yeah, no, that's fine. I apologize for that again. I guess anything could really happen. They do have a lot of big bats in that lineup with the Crabs, a lot of home run hitters. So, like you said, definitely like a contact or some sort of speedy hitter would be pretty useful for them. So,
Also, yeah, they had 10 stolen bases on the year, so I think they might want to look into speed a bit.
yeah, compared to the Voyagers' two stolen bases, which I was very surprised that we only had two. I thought we only had zero. But so
I wonder who had the two.
yeah, I don't remember. It might have been, I think Nate Piazza had one very sarcastically done as well. Probably eating a pizza while stealing second base. But it looks like we got some news in regards to this pick. It looks like there was a trade for this pick. Yeah. So it looks like a trade has been accepted between San Antonio, the Sloths, and the Providence Crabs. So San Antonio is going to be trading their season 9 first round draft pick. I don't know why that is so light. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'll just type it in. Go here. Season 9 San Antonio first round draft pick is going to the Crabs. And then the Crabs are sending back their season 8 first round pick. So now with this draft pick, what do you think that San Antonio is going to be going for with this pick?
I'm a bit surprised.
Yeah, I'm kind of
They would try to
surprised
go.
too.
Yeah, they would go. I mean, because I don't. They really don't have anything they need. So like looking at their stats, it's really not a thing. Like, oh, they need this specific thing. They need to target this specific spot. What I do feel like is they had 3 outfielders on their roster, and Steven Venezuela and Zach. Last name I can't say.
Malatesta, I think.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Zach, last name starts with M.
Yeah.
I feel like with all due respect to Zach, last name I can't say, they need to get a better outfielder for out there. I think that's really their only option besides maybe getting another catcher.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because let's see, hold on, is this the guy I'm thinking of? No, it is not the guy I'm thinking of. Never mind.
I know
Okay.
Baratheon plays for the Slots, and it seems like he always does really well whenever the stream is watching him for some reason. He always ends up to hit like a home run or goes like 4 for 4 and does
He's a
something
camera
ridiculous.
boy.
Yeah, pretty much. And it definitely seems like it's gonna be some sort of positional player. Hopefully, another positional player in this pick. I know we said that a couple times already, but I'm just hoping we can, get some love for an outfielder or maybe even an infielder this time. And like I said before, there are a couple highly rated infielders still left. Looks like a lot of people had Joshua Linton up there, Arbin Jr., Ulysses Rove. Like
What
you said,
position is this be again?
he's a shortstop.
Okay, so I don't think they'll be taking him with Julian O'Sullivan as
Yeah,
their MVP type player that they have.
that is true. It would be interesting to see where they do go. I could see them going like a third baseman possibly, or if they do go for shortstop, I could see somebody else in the infield moving over to, cover a position if Julian Sullivan did pull like a Alex Rodriguez and decide to play third base. Something like that is definitely possible. I guess we'll have to take a look. And it looks like the pick is in as well for the Sloths for their second pick in the first round. They have selected shortstop Ulysses Rove going to the Sloths with the fifth pick of the draft.
Very surprising.
Yeah, it is a surprising pick. Pretty much, like you said, and they have Julian O'Sullivan as their shortstop, probably the best shortstop in the league. So it'll be
Probably one of the best players in the league.
Yeah,
The best
exactly.
infielders in the league.
Yeah,
Maybe they know something we don't.
Yeah, they probably do. They usually do because if I knew what they knew, then maybe I would be running a team, but I'm not. So yeah, well, we'll see when how that goes. Well, like I said, with that, since them drafting a shortstop would probably have to be somebody in the infield moving around to cover like a different hole and playing in this position that they probably haven't played before, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so congrats, Rove, being as the fifth pick. And it looks like for the last pick of the first round, we have my home, the New York Voyagers. We, every single year that I've played here, finished in fourth place and just right outside of the playoffs. And
you're the bad luck charm.
yes, I am the bad luck charm. Pretty much as soon as I've joined, it should, it, we just can't do it. We get within a couple games and then we just for some reason aren't able to make the playoffs. Last year we made it within one game. The year before that it was 3 games. So hopefully this year will be the year that we can still not make the playoffs by like a game. So personally, since you're not on the Voyagers, what do you think would be the mindset for the Voyagers right now?
I personally would go infielder here because looking at their infielder list, they have 3 second basemen and 2 third basemen. So obviously 2 people are playing out of position in that infield. So I feel like they might go first or short to get a player that plays in position within the next year or two. So they don't have to keep playing out of position like that.
Yeah, that is true.
They could always go for a starting pitcher because they did not have the best pitcher rating in the league last year. Pretty bad. With the 5th starting ERA in the league. So I think they might go pitching or they might go for an infielder.
Yeah. Yeah, so on the team, like you said, we do have a lot of players that, kind of do play out of position. We have George Gumbash, who was a third baseman, now playing first base. So, we could always use like more depth in the infield or, in the outfield. Sadly, our old GM, FTR, Pepe Alazar, isn't, with us. He dropped out in activity. And so now he's still in our center field, so we could always go for an outfielder as well, which is definitely something that we could, work on. But
Aspie's mad. He's not happy.
Oh, he's not happy.
Aspie's not happy. No.
I'm sorry, man. It's not my fault. It's not, I'm not doing the draft. I'm just saying what everybody else is doing. And so it looks like we did receive the pick for number 6 for the Voyagers, the last pick of the first round, is going to be Joshua Linton, second baseman, and going to the Voyagers. So, how do you feel about this pick?
That's an interesting one. I think they might try to throw him over to like shortstop or first base, or have him stay at second and move someone else over. I don't know who the starting second baseman is. I think it would be Connor McDonald. I
Connor
don't know.
McDonald left this past season. He signed
Oh
back
yeah, he
with
did.
Outer Banks. So right now, the only second baseman we do have is my boy Storm. I don't know if you're out there right now, but I love you. The Storm, yes. We got the Noodle Storm infield. Everybody should be aware of that. But now we also got Linton in the mix, so I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just putting my trust in Moose Cup, and I'm putting my trust in Ryan Stryker. And like you
That's
said,
never a good idea.
yeah, no, it's not. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's definitely possible that one of the players that we do have move to the outfield, possibly Linton moving to the outfield, going to center field, or covering for another spot. Whether we do need some backup. Um, Most likely, it seems like that since that's like the one hole where we don't have an active player. I just want to say congrats, Linton. Welcome to New York. It's gonna be awesome here, and we're
It's
gonna eat.
depressing there.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. We got pizza. We got good pizza, so you don't have to worry about that. And so that's pretty much the conclusion of the first
Chicago
round.
has better pizza. Okay, I don't want
Okay,
to hear that.
you gotta get out of this phone call right now. I'm sorry. No, but I do have another guest to come in the phone call, Waldo. I do appreciate you coming in, talking with me for the first round. Do you have anything you want to say before?
Um, Chicago Bears Super Bowl champions 2018.
Bears are doing pretty good right now, so
Bears beat Chiefs in overtime of the Super Bowl. That's it for me. I'm gonna go now.
that's on record.
Thanks
too.
for having me.
Yeah, no problem, dude.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
I'll try my best.
Thanks. Okay. Yeah, so that was Waldo. We do have another guest to come in right now for the second round, possibly part of the third round, since it looks like, there were a couple picks. I'm going to get him on the phone, and let's take a look to see what's going on. Just give me a moment while this is going through. Yeah. So it looks like for the first pick of the second round, it will be the Vandals selecting with the 8th pick because of what happened previously. Due to the tampering incident that was, that was talked about. We don't need to talk about that anymore. So it will be the 8th pick with the Vandals going. I could definitely take with the Vandals. It's hard, especially because of last season and how well they were previously, that they could go with pretty much any position, any player on the field, and they, except for a handful where they're going to be able to improve. They did make a couple good free agency signings this season, so maybe they'll be in that wild card, and I could definitely see that happening. Doesn't look like the phone call's going through. Let me take a look. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on? So in the booth right now, we got the man, the myth, and the legend, Arbin Asipi Jr. How you doing, man?
Doing good. I'll be here.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so you got any thoughts about the draft so far? Who's going to be going number 8 to the Vandals? Anything you want to say about the draft in general?
Pretty disappointed on who was drafted before me, but it's whatever. As for number 8, I think the Vandals should take me.
The Vandals taking you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a possibility. I guess we'll see what they really go with the 8th pick. So, give me 1 second. We're going down to the 8th pick right now. Going to the Vandals is going to be Hunter Harrison, and is going to be the 3rd baseman. So, as of right now, you're still on the board, Mississippi. I'm sorry about that. But, how you feeling? You think you're gonna get drafted anytime soon? You got any plans of where you want to go, or like a place you're interested in going?
At this point, I don't care. I just want to get
Mhm.
drafted already. I'm tired of
Okay.
waiting.
I understand that. It's very anxious time right now. So it looks like the Vandals got another pick, this round. It looks like they would have had three back-to-back-to-back picks, but now with the second pick, you think that is going to be you again? You think somebody else might get a shot going there?
It better be me. I mean, I do have the most TP in this draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, from the stats and from like the TPE gain, you definitely do have the most TPE. It seems like quite a fall. I do apologize about that, and not entirely sure why, but hopefully you should be drafted soon based on the output that you're putting into the league and everything that you've done so far. So it looks like we also have received a word in regards to the number 9 pick, and it looks like you're finally going somewhere. You're going,
Ooh,
you're going to the Vandals. How do you feel about that?
I'm back.
Back, back where he belongs. He's gonna be kicking butt. He's gonna
Of course.
prove everybody wrong that didn't draft him in the first round. This man's on a mission now. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's how I would feel, and that's how I felt too when I first got drafted, dropping. But yeah. So you excited to get this season off to start playing again?
Yeah, I mean, last time I fell in a draft, I won 5 rings. So, I'm going to see if I can do it again.
Yeah, I mean, you got to bring those championships back to Vancouver where they belong, pretty much the dynasty squad. I mean, the only other team to win previously was the Voyagers in season 1 when I wasn't around, and now recently with the Sloths, and it looks like the Vandals are making a good case for rebuilding and possibly challenging this year for a wild card. I could definitely see that happening. Um, against the Scorpions to try to get some sort of wild card. I guess we'll see what happens throughout the year. How do you think you guys are gonna do? You think you guys are gonna make it to the playoffs this year?
Yeah, I mean, as for the rebuild, it's not really a rebuild anymore. They got a few of their old players back, and now with their free draft picks, I think they're gonna be, or at least we're gonna be good enough to make the playoffs at least.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. I definitely think the Vandals have the players and the management to make the playoffs. It's definitely going to be hard compared to what did occur last season to make that push in one season. But I mean, anything's possible. The Sloths won their first championship this year. I mean, they were pretty much the best team in the league, and congrats to them again. But in baseball, anything can happen. That's the great thing about baseball, is that sometimes there are these teams that have these Cinderella stories, and maybe this is going to be the Vandals or Cinderella story from last to first. So good luck to the Vandals. Good luck to you as well on the Vandals, and hopefully everything goes your way, man. I really do.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah. So it also looks like we got word in regards to the 10th overall pick for the Death Valley Scorpions, and it's going to be a center fielder, Isadora Fox, being selected 10th overall in the second round. So, you know, how do you feel about that pick? You got any strong feelings about Death Valley or the players that they have over there?
Well, I think as for the pick, I think Fox is actually going to be pretty good. In
Mm-hmm.
the short time he's been here, he's earned about every TP I think he can actually get. So he's going to be a good player. I'm sure he'll be able to stay active. He's already written some media about himself. And as for the Scorpions, I'm just still disappointed they didn't pick me at 4. I think they should have, but that's the past.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, man, at this point, it's just living up to those haters and proving them wrong. Just saying that, like, you got drafted ninth, you got drafted, and now it's just pretty much telling every team that passed you up, kind of just like, look at what you missed out on, and you know, Isidore Fox, like you said, because of like the TPE earned is definitely one of the higher, rated statistics in regards to rookies, depending on, how much they've earned in the amount of time and, how much TPE is available as well when they do come in. Because during the off season, it's not as much TPE that you can get besides, some of the trainings and like the equipment that you can buy. But if you were able to come in as like a free agent during the year, it kind of gives you the little edge ahead of everybody else. Besides when you do come in like a regression state. But congrats to Fox. Congrats on being drafted to Death Valley, and hopefully your career goes well. So for the 11th pick, it looks like it was skipped due to salary cap that was forfeited. So the next pick and the last pick of the second round is going to the Voyagers. And at this point, you got any thoughts of who the Voyagers might take or what position they might be looking for?
It's gonna be difficult because the Voyagers are an interesting team. They won the first ever World Series, but after that, it seemed like they kept going on a downward trend. And looking at their past drafts, it's been decent. They've had some good players, but there's definitely in the infield. I think they can probably look at their shortstop. They can probably draft a shortstop. Yeah, I think they should probably look for.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the infield, especially the middle infield, is something that the Voyagers and some of the other teams are looking for, especially since I'm on the Voyagers. I feel like I know more about the team playing for them, and it seems like that was one of our highest needs available, and we did draft the Linton, Joshua Linton, so hopefully that would be enough to fulfill the spot. Like I mentioned before, in regards to the Voyagers, is another outfield need that we do have with center field and just or any sort of outfielder really, just to put in like a gap for an inactive player, an active GM that once was here with FTR. So at this point, I feel like it should be some sort of infield or outfield to fill these holes. Wouldn't be surprised if we did pick up some sort of starting pitcher because our bullpen is definitely not the best. I know that from a fact, from watching the games and from watching us losing many times because, really pitchers come in and just below the games. But, we'll take a look and see what happens. And it looks like we did receive word that the pick is in. And it looks like that the Voyagers did select. Give me 1 second. Starting pitcher Colton Hagen or Hagan. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. With the 12th pick and the last pick of the second round going to the Voyagers, filling a need for starting pitching. So, I know you said that you do need to go after this pick quickly. How do you feel about that pick before I do give you like a sign off?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised he dropped all the way down to this last pick of the second round. I think he definitely could have been picked earlier, but he's going to be a good starting pitcher, or he's whatever you need from a pitcher. I think he's going to be a steal for Voyagers.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm hoping for, at least being on the team, and I just want the best players that we can get, and just active players because being active in the locker room is a great time. So anybody on the Voyagers, if you like playing Pictionary, we play a decent amount. Just don't play with Striker; he's too good. No, yeah, but besides that, like I said, do you have anything you want to say before you do sign off? Before you leave the call, the booth.
I know every team who passed on me, and I'm gonna come for them.
Okay, sounds good. Good luck, Sippy. Hopefully everything goes well for you on the Vandals, and if you do go to the minors or on any sort of minor league team. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Have a good night, man.
You too.
Yeah, so as of right now, I'm in the booth by myself. If anybody does want to, come join me, come talk about the draft or anything like that, definitely hit me up, message me, PM me on You can PM me on Discord. My name's Pazuzu, number 4086. You can direct message me on there. If you have any questions or anything, definitely put them in the Twitch chat. I'm reading it. Congrats. I see Asterwith. It looks like that was you, Colton Hagen. So congrats coming to New York. And yeah, I'll probably definitely be better than you, Striker. You can't hold the game. No, I'm just kidding. So looks like it's going to be the start of the third round rather soon. Like I said, if anybody's interested, definitely send me a PM. Right now, I'm just riding solo. So with the, it looks like with the first pick for the third round, it's going to be the Vandals. Picking again, it looks like they did have a few picks already. You know, 3 picks within the first 2 rounds. Definitely looks like some sort of a rebuild that they're going for after the results from last season. They hit some big needs. They got a starting pitcher, one of the highly, probably most rated starting pitchers, Barry Kelly, with the first pick. Then in the second round, they got Sippy Jr. and Hunter Harrison filling out their infield needs. So at this point, I feel like it really could be anything. It's really just kind of like filling in the depth of what they need and realizing that soon, like I mentioned before, that there is going to be a regression for those players that did start in the earlier seasons of the PBE season. So right now, you know, we do have a lot on the board. It looks like they are kind of filling in those holes for the possible regression with Sippy and Harrison being drafted for those older players. I could definitely see them going another starting pitcher, since I feel like starting pitcher is probably one of the most needed positions, especially in the PBE. And at this point, you know, any position really for any team is going to be needed and filled for depth wise or for, you know, just activity wise as well. And it looks like we did receive word in regards to this draft pick as well. So for the 13th pick of the beginning of the third round of the draft, we have another starting pitcher going, and it's Seth Porter being drafted to the Vandals. Congratulations, Seth Porter, on being the 13th pick in the draft and going to the Vandals. So, like I mentioned before, it definitely seems like they are focusing on some sort of rebuild. You know, they had Chris Bennett in the bullpen. Chris Bennett, you know, did move to starting pitcher last season. So, you know, they may be filling the holes for some sort of bullpen or some sort of, you know, resurgence of the youth for starting pitching, or just, you know, like I said, just pretty much building for the future. Pretty much that's what you need to do at this point, is just think about the future and kind of have that mindset as well about, you know, possible regression, since that is coming within the next couple of years. And then also with the expansion coming too, which, you know, may screw up, and some teams drafting and the players that they do pick because of that, the players that do need to be protected when expansion does happen next season, when the new teams get introduced. So, you know, like I mentioned, as of right now, I am just solo in the booth. So, anybody wants to, you know, you're definitely more than welcome to come join us. Come join me, I'm sorry. I'm not 2 people. But, yeah, so, you know, I'm having a good time. Hopefully everybody, all the rookies out there, all the GMs in the chat, having a good time tonight for the draft. About 45 minutes in, or maybe about halfway done as of this point. Here, I'll type my name in the chat. And if anybody, like I said, does want to come, definitely DM me, and then, or PM me, whatever it's called, on Discord, and we can come talk. And if you want to talk about the draft, how you doing tonight, or anything really, just want to keep the conversation going. So right now we got OBX, Outer Banks Aviators, and so Outer Banks, you know, like down here on the cards that I made, Looks like batting may be one of the higher priorities. They did have only one pick within the first 2 rounds so far. They picked starting pitcher Alyssa Elliott. Um, right now, I feel like the Aviators have a really good starting pitching. With the base that they do have, like I mentioned, when they got Wozy and everything like that. Yeah, and then now they're also drafting Elliott, and they also drafted Faulkner a couple years ago, rookie in the bullpen. They got Banks. They have a really phenomenal starting pitching, and I feel like right now maybe it's time to focus on some bats, focus on some positions where there are inactive players that are there. They made a good signing with Connor McDonald. Hopefully this time he does stay with Outer Banks and not get traded to the Voyagers, even though I didn't mind that. C-Mac is the man. He's a cool dude. So it looks like we got another person about to join the booth. Hello, hello. How you doing? Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. So right now, in the booth we got Catchy Boy, Boya. Is that right?
Boya.
Boya.
Yes.
Okay. I always go right to Catchy Boy because I see BOI and I'm just like, we got a Speedy Boy
fine.
and now we got a Catchy Boy. So, how you doing? How's the draft going for you? You excited?
Yes. I'm hoping I would go for the second as the last pick.
You want to go as the last pick?
Would be
Mr.
epic.
Irrelevant. Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully, it doesn't look like we have enough people to do that unless, everybody does skip if you really want to be that last pick.
True.
I think we could try to make that happen. But if you didn't have a choice of where you wanted to go, have you talked to like any of like the GMs or like the co-GMs? Is there like a place that you're looking to go?
Vandals, Voyagers, and Scorpions reach out to me on the on the forums, and I only talked really to the Scorpions.
Oh, okay.
Like I had an actual conversation with them.
Yeah, I mean, any team, all the GMs in here are pretty nice people for the most part. No, they're all nice people, but with the draft coming up, there was a lot going on, so sometimes all that's messages don't come out. So at least I did get to talk to some people, meet some of the GMs because they are really nice people that are running these teams. And it looks like we finally did receive a word for the 14th pick by the Outer Banks Aviators. And it looks like just in time to join the chat, Catchy Boy is being drafted.
Damn.
Yeah, so congrats, man, on being drafted 14th overall to the Aviators.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So, yeah, it looks like you'll be going to Outer Banks and part of that team over there. Outer Banks is a really good team, especially with the people that they have recently drafted, recently signed. So definitely see them as contending, possibly for like a wild card spot. It's hard to go against the Crabs and the Sloths right now. So, you excited you want to go like straight up into the majors, or is it like you want to try to stick around the minors a little bit more or something?
I think I'm gonna try and at least stay in the minors for a little bit, get a hang of things and get more active.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, I know that you're on the Alcatraz with me. I'm the co-GM, so
yeah.
I see you talking in the Discord a lot. So it's nice to see that you're always talking and that you're around doing things. And like, if you ever need any help doing anything, you're more than welcome to just, tag me, message me, or whatever. So I'm on Discord pretty much all the time, even if I'm at work, because just want to do whatever else besides work.
Yeah. Also, the activity thing is funny because I'm in SHL, GOML, what the fuck it's called, Get on My Hockey League, and NSFL, and then I'm on PBE here and two more, but I don't remember the names.
Yeah, I mean that it seems like that's a lot of sim leagues that you're part of. It's nice though
Yes.
that now that they have like all the where you're able to, what I don't even remember what it's called when you can do like the point task or like
Yeah.
the essay things and just transfer them. Yeah, I
Mm.
mean I'm a part of both this league and the NSFL as well, and pretty much that's what I do. Even though I do forget to update a decent amount in NSFL. I'm sorry, CK. I know you usually do tag me, and I do forget things a lot. So it's it's not my fault. It's the baseball. I'm just too distracted. Yeah. So it looks like now the Voyagers are going to pick in for a third pick in the third round. So you have any ideas? You talked to like any of the other rookies at all, and about where they think they're going to go?
Absolutely no idea. Only one I really know from this draft class is Barry Keller or Stamkos fan, because he's on the SHL as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I guess we'll see what happens pretty much from there. You know, we were all kind of surprised with the trade as well in the first round.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't. A lot of people, I don't think, were expecting that. The Crabs pretty much haven't picked at all yet. So that's not a good thing, really, when you're not drafting people. And because in the later rounds they also have forfeited picks because of them exceeding the salary cap, so they're actually going to have their first pick with the 17th overall. I mean, that's not the best thing, especially when you are a team that is kind of competing right now. So I guess we'll see what happens with that.
That is true.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that until right now. But it looks like we do have word for the Voyagers and who they are selecting. And it looks like they have selected left fielder Tristan Cameron. Bannock. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I'm just not going to say that anymore. I'll just say the names. So congrats, Tristan Cameron, being drafted to the Voyagers, the greatest city on earth in New York. Welcome around, man. New York's awesome. And now we have the Death Valley Scorpions coming up. So we'll take a look to see who they're going to be drafting and what's going on with them. Right now, I feel like a lot of the picks are, more of those depth picks that they're trying to fill out the teams and trying to, get ready for the eventual, like I mentioned, when regression does hit those really good players like, Julian O'Sullivan. For Death Valley, that's going to be, DeStefano, and then we'll see really what happens from there. I know DeStefano moved to third base recently, and they haven't drafted an infielder yet this this draft, so I could see that happening for the possibility of when that does happen. Besides that, I don't know. We'll see what happens with any sort of pitching or anything like that. You got any ideas who they might be drafting?
They could try and draft the infielder or a pitcher. I think pitcher would be a good call for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like, especially with the Sim League and how it's run, not just, the Sim League itself, but also like the OOTP, like Sim Engine. I feel like a lot of the games do for, I don't even know what I lost track of what I'm saying. I'm so sorry, but do favor pitching more than hitting. So if you do have really good pitchers, especially dominant pitchers like we've seen in the past with like Steiner and any sort of pretty much any pitcher with above like 1,000 TPE at this point is just gonna be like destroying, and their ERAs are really low. They're not like giving up hits or anything like that, and even like a lot of younger players in terms of when they were created. Like you could see that with Banks. Banks's stats right now are phenomenal for how much TP he does have compared to other players when when you take a look and look at it. And then also there's Tyler Oles, who is also a really good starting pitcher as well. Recently, for the past couple seasons, I think he was drafted the same season as me. I don't remember off the top of the head, or the season after, but I mean, even then, all the TP that he's gained compared to TP I've gained, it definitely seems like it shows more for pitchers than hitters. I feel like it's harder for hitters to get better, but that just may be the way that I built, because I put a lot of stuff into Gap. So just don't put anything into Gap. Gap is not the best. Yeah.
Taking notes.
Yeah, just any rookies out there, do not do anything with a Gap. But it looks like we did receive word of the pick that was for Death Valley, and it looks like it was for a center fielder, Thomas Beowulf, being drafted to Death Valley. Congrats. Yeah, congratulations on being drafted. Hopefully everything does go good in Death Valley. And right now you're on a pretty good team as well. A team that made the playoffs last year. Competed pretty well against the Crabs, even though the series didn't go the distance. You guys did take a game from them, and then hopefully this year will be a year where the Scorpions can go back and challenge and make it to the World Series. So, we got time to talk about pretty much anything, really. How do you think this season is going to go out? Who do you think is going to make it to the playoffs? Or do you think we're going to have a different World Series winner than last year, than the Slots?
I don't know about, players who are getting maybe called up to the major right now. But I would imagine it would stay about the same as it's right now, unless there was really major players retiring.
No, yeah. I mean, from what I was looking at, it doesn't seem like there were many players retiring for the Slots, and this past season the Slots were pretty dominant, so I feel like that'll continue on again.
Yeah.
Any of the other teams, it definitely seems like they do have a shot on making some sort of wild card run.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I feel like the Vandals got a lot of good draft picks this draft. They already have 4 players drafted. They have good pitching. Like I said, Bennett moving out of the bullpen and going into the starting lineup, and starting for them is definitely, I think, a benefit for them. And then for the Aviators, like I mentioned before, Connor McDonald, free agent signing, previous trade last year, signing with Wozy, and now this year drafting Alyssa Elliott early on, and now you as well. I could definitely see them making a good run into the playoffs. Voyagers, I feel like we always just miss it, so we're probably not going to make the playoffs. and then with the Scorpions and Crabs, those are the best 2 teams last year, besides the Sloths, of course. And it looks like they were gonna duke it out, and I could have seen that series going really any way. At first I thought the Scorpions were gonna take it, because they had I thought their starting pitching was gonna be okay, but then the Crabs just the Crabs do what the Crabs do. They just throw out pitching. They have the best pitchers in the league, and then they just blast home runs with everybody that they have. So we'll take a look to we'll see what happens this year. At this point, the Crabs are up with their first pick, and then I'm not I guess they're probably not gonna focus on pitching. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. So they'll probably go with some sort of infielder or possibly some sort of outfielder, like I mentioned, because of the regression, and they do have a decent amount of players from, like the first season. I could see them going with either one of those positions as, like, hopefully somebody that could fill in for those roles. Do you have...
That would be really smart.
Yeah, let's take a look to see in regards to any prior drafts. Give me 1 second. Pulling up. Yeah, so let's see. Take a look last year. Looks like the Voyager, not the Voyagers, I'm sorry. They're just always on my mind. The Crabs drafted in the first round. They got Pete Peters, starting pitcher. Good choice. He's a good player right now in the minors as well. They got Dexter Paquette, a left fielder, in the third round. Last year, the Crabs did forfeit another draft pick due to the salary cap penalty, and then it looks like they also drafted catcher Troy Castlefield Flug. I don't really know how to say that name. So they really didn't go any sort of infielders during that year. They went for an outfielder, starting pitcher, and a catcher. So I feel like at this point they need to start rebuilding that infield because of those older players. Even though regression is not going to hurt when it first does happen, it's going to hurt a couple seasons afterwards when they start losing more and more, or not gaining as much. It's gonna, especially with like De Niro and everything like that, it's gonna be hard. So I can see in a few years, if the Crabs don't do anything about that issue, it's gonna be difficult for them.
Indeed.
Yeah. And then, I mean, that's really for any team that has a decent amount of older players from, the first couple seasons. Like right now, the Voyagers, we don't really have many. We have like FTR, Pepe Alazar, and that's about it. And he's inactive right now, which kind of stinks. But so, I mean, we're looking okay. But all the other teams, except for maybe like the Vandals and Outer Banks as well. I feel like a lot of the teams that are competing right now are because they have these players that have a lot of TPE, that they're able to contribute more, either, offensively or defensively, because they're just miles better in earnings wise. And that's why they're able to bat like a 340 and hit 40 home runs like Julian O'Sullivan or something like that. So, well, we'll have to take a look and see what's going to happen with that. Yeah. But, as of right now, we also do have a decent amount of players still available. Looks like we have one relief pitcher as well. Nobody wants to make relief pitchers anymore in this, in the league. It's not... I feel like mostly it's because of the limelight that relief pitchers don't get to... They only come in every once in a while. You're not starting the game. You're not pitching for, maybe 5 innings or so. So,
yeah,
that's the one thing that kind of does stink, because every team does need a relief pitcher,
That is true.
Yeah, and I mean, I've always told myself if I ever retire Phil J. Fry that I'd make a relief pitcher, just because I don't want to like play every single game. But it'd also be pretty beneficial for a lot of teams, and I feel like if we had more relief pitchers, or relief pitchers should be more valuable. Because, I mean, look, we have 10 starting pitchers and we only have one relief pitcher. If you're that one person that gets that, then, it's also, pretty good to have that player, especially if they're going to be active with, like, Corey Bradford or any relief pitcher in the league. Like, we got Grotzinger, we've got Smoltz, we've got, we had Ovechkin. All these relief pitchers were good because that's what they wanted to do, and they were able to stay active and become dominant. Penny Cowers is like the best relief pitcher right now, and he just goes anywhere he wants. I don't even know what's going on with him. He's a crazy man. I love him, but he's crazy. But also the one thing about relief pitching as well is that you can throw any sort of starting pitcher into that role, which kind of does stink because
Yeah.
I feel like if you are a relief pitcher, there should be certain statistics maybe that you're better at because if you're a starting pitcher, you have all the stats, and it's just pretty much a different role. It's just a pitching, you know, where like if you played somebody at third base, like if we had like a catcher and played them at first base, they're not gonna be as good because they don't have any sort of experience at first base, which kind
Yeah.
of that's the one thing that kind of does stink. But we'll have to take a look and see exactly what does occur with that. And then at this point it looks like the infielders are starting to dwindle down. We do have 2 catchers left. We got Jasper Clayton and also Recycle Bin. I love the name Recycle Bin. It's great. I am a big fan of those silly names.
That's really good.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, we had King Swamp Troll. I don't even I don't remember any of the other ones, but the funny names are great. Personally, I like to make like cartoon names. So Phil J. Frost from Futurama. So I'm happy about that. We had Bobby Hill from King of the Hill as well too. So I like when people are bringing out the creative side. It definitely makes the league a lot more interesting, a lot more fun for everybody. So how did you come up with your name? Was it anything specific, or were you just like, oh, I'm just gonna make this?
So my player's name in SHL, which I created the first, there my name is Dankboya. So when I heard about PBE and NSFL, I was like, oh, this is too good to be true. And then when I created the player, I was thinking of what position do I want to be. And when I decided I want to be a second baseman, I decided, okay, my name will be Catchyboya because I will catch the ball.
So you got the whole Boya family now.
Yeah.
Are all the players? Do they all have the same last name too?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. I really like that. That's funny. Yeah, like I said, I use characters from Futurama. So in this league, I'm Philip J. Fry in the NSFL. Right now, I am currently with San Jose. And my player's name is Zap Brannigan. I'm a tight end. And then I also did join the Sim Hockey League as well. I haven't really done anything in there, sadly. And my character's name is Calculon. So I'm pretty much just gonna go through all the Futurama characters until I can't use any anymore, because I'm not very original. I need somebody else to come up for names for me. But yeah, I mean the names are great. So
yeah. And as CK Royal said in the chat, my NSFL player's name is Fast Boya, and I'm a running back.
I mean that would make sense if you're Fast Boya, that you would be a running back.
Yeah.
Or maybe do you do like the kick returns too? Because that would also make a lot of sense. Or no?
No.
Well, maybe sooner or later you will. What team do you play on in the NSFL?
I play for San Antonio Marshals.
Oh, okay. So my boy, Moose Cop. Do you know Moose Cop?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Me and him are friends. Hi, Moose. I know him in real life. No.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he's all right when he's not being mean to me. No. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you have anything else you want to say or anything like that?
When are the Crabs going to pick?
I don't know. It looks like there was some issue with the pick, and it looks like, based on what was discussed, that the this pick has actually been skipped. I'm not entirely sure what did occur. So hopefully everything is going okay over in Providence, and they didn't lose any sort of electricity or something like that. Trying to get to the phone. So yeah, hopefully everything's going over well over there, which also kind of does stink. Like I mentioned before, this was going to be their first pick in the draft. And
yeah,
now,
and they only have 2 picks after this one.
yeah, and it looks like it was skipped. And like I said, I'm not entirely sure what the reason was, but hopefully we'll see what's going on with that. And now it looks like we have a possible trade discussion going on, and it looks like the Sloths are trying to make a trade for this pick coming up. I wonder what they're trying to do with that. So, I mean, at this point, it looks like they may be trying to fall back to try to get some more picks, or try to offload some stuff. You think they might be going after anybody in particular?
Not really sure. They could be like they have seen someone on the draft players list, and they've been like, that player is pretty inactive. Like goes sometimes to the site and updates, but could be a really good potential pick for us. So but they don't want to pick it right away, and as they also have picks in round 5 and 7 only after this one, they might get a 4th rounder or 6th rounder to pick the specific player.
No, yeah, definitely. I'm sorry. Sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing. No, but no, yeah, it's definitely something that's gonna be interesting with the rumors that they're trying to trade down, especially like you said, there has to be somebody up there that they're looking to try to get, or maybe that they think is going to be available in the later rounds.
Yeah.
Or possibly if they are trying to trade it, then we'll see. Maybe it's for a positional player from another team. It's gonna be, especially with a third round pick. Third round pick's kind of valuable too. It's not. I mean, it's not no first round pick where you're gonna be able to get like a really high tier player.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for like a young player to try to build around, especially a third round pick, is definitely something of value of that sort. So we'll see exactly what the Sloths do with this pick.
And there's always few gems in the later rounds. Like round 3, you can find a really good potential really easily.
No, yeah.
And round 4, maybe get a potential there, but later than that, it's going to be hard.
No, yeah, especially in the later picks, pretty much round like the 4th or 5th round, it's gonna be hard to find value of those picks. But I guess we'll have to take a look and see exactly what does happen if these rumors do hold up that the Sloths will be trading down. I mean, if we think about it, the Sloths, if they want to trade down into the 4th round, if there's something, somebody on OBX or the Vandals that are available, then I could definitely see that if the player is going to be on the board only about 3 picks later, and there's somebody on that team that they want.
Yeah.
I mean, the Vandals right now, like I mentioned, they do have a lot of good young players in this draft that maybe the Sloths are like, oh, maybe we need somebody in that infield role, even though they did draft Rove as well. Or maybe it could have been somebody from a prior draft as well that they may be looking for.
That would be, a possibility.
Yeah. I guess we'll have to take a look and see. It looks like, discussion is still going on about this. So, as of right now, though, we'll take a look and see the sloths. Let's take a look at some of the prior draft picks that were taken. Like I mentioned before, I did have those up from last year. I do apologize. Just give me one moment. I have too many screens open up right now. It's hard to keep track of everything. Yeah, so this was the Season 7 draft. There were Ant Bogart was drafted overall first. So who's up in the 4th round? We got the Vandals and OBX. Aviators took Corey's brother in Tony Pisano in the 1st round. Then the Aviators also had 3 picks in the 2nd round. They had JJ Windsor, Jonathan Livingston, and Mikhail Bergen, I think. I mean, I could see possibly the Sloths trading down with the Aviators to try to get possibly a closing pitcher. Since the Aviators did draft 2 for Jonathan Livingston and JJ Windsor, it is a possibility that could happen, especially since before the season did end. Before the season did end, San Antonio did trade one of their relief pitchers, a closing pitcher, Adam Squigley, to the Voyagers. So it kind of is a need that they may be looking for, and I can definitely see happening.
Yeah, that would be a really smart trade from the Sloths.
Yeah, so if they do that, they'll drop down. They could draft or get one of those players. Or if they are looking for a relief pitcher or a closer, Corey Bradford probably would be on the board still at that pick.
Yeah.
Since it seems like a lot of people do tend to go with the starting pitchers. So we'll really have to, take a look and see what's going to happen with this pick. And it looks like we did receive word finally. What's going to happen with that 18th pick? And that's going to be shortstop Patrick Kelly, drafted to. Yes, Patrick Kelly, the last shortstop available, going to the Sloths. So
congratulations.
Yes, congratulations, Kelly. So I think this is a pretty interesting pick. The Sloths before drafted Rove with the 5th pick and got a shortstop. At this point, that could be like a utility role that they're using either Rove or Kelly for to try to fill in infield holes when needed. I mean, right now, most of the people that are going to be drafted are going to be going to the minors. So, you're going to spend a lot of time down there. Hopefully, they could get the experience at other positions as well, so they could fill in these holes when they do get called up and when they are needed too. So I could definitely see that happening, maybe even in like the outfield or something as well. I guess anything is a possibility, at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that's the best thing about the minors as well, is that you can find positions where you want to put your player and kind of stick them there, and then from there, decide what you want to do. It gives them that experience, which is always nice because it brings up the roles and their stats for playing that specific position. That's why during spring training I like to play my guy at weird positions like first base or something like that, just in case anything ever does happen. Now I'm like, oh, I have a 10 rating in first base, I can catch a ball just in case it's thrown at me. Yeah. For Catchy Boy, do you have any sort of like secondary positions that you would play, or is it just pretty much like second base?
Maybe like first base would be pretty cool.
First base, okay, yeah, that definitely. I mean, any sort of, I feel like corner or mid infield roles are needed, especially with younger players. Like we mentioned before. So we'll have to, take a look. And now it looks like, the Vandals are on the clock with their, their 4th pick. And this is going to be their 5th pick of the draft in the 4th round. Good for the Vandals. Definitely looks like a rebuild for them. So
yeah, once the players get up in TPE and get ready for majors, Vandal's gonna be strong.
Yeah, yeah, once the season 8 draft wave hits, when everybody gets a lot of TPE, if everybody stays active, the Vandals are gonna have a good team. And you know, based on what Asipi was saying before too in the phone call, it seems like he's really trying to prove the haters wrong about, you know, people not drafting him during, you know, the first couple rounds. And I wouldn't put it past him. It definitely seems like he's that kind of guy to do that. I mean, I was that kind of person as well. But I mean, I think I was drafted in the second round, but I was just like, you know, everybody else kind of passed up on me. So, you know, just want to make everybody else feel the pain whenever I play against them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll take a look. It looks like we still need a few more moments for, you know, before the Vandals do pick. It looks like they're still on the clock right now. And for the Vandals, let's take a look at their team really quick. Let me pull up that information. So many tabs, I always click on the wrong ones.
Classic problems.
Yeah, classic streaming problems. Okay. Yeah, so right now, the Vandals do have Chris Bennett. They did acquire Jaron Maxson from the Voiders in a trade, so he's also in the starting lineup, you know, as a starter. And then they also did have an inactive Brandon Adams as a pitcher later on the season, who really didn't do them too much help. Had an 8.1 ERA and started 12 games. So that definitely didn't help their cause in regards to them finishing in last place for pitching, you know, in regards to the ERA and average. So I definitely understand why they focused on pitching, drafting 2 pitchers, especially with the first overall pick. You know, it's going to be hard to win games if you can't stop the other team from scoring against you when you're pitching, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, with Hunter Harrison and Asipi Jr. does, you know, fill out the infield where they did have Phil the Thrill Macchiochi playing. I'm just going to say Macchiochi because that's what I think. Nobody knows how to say his name anymore because he's not here. But they'll probably play somebody at second base, shortstop, wherever Phil did play. I think it was between those 2 positions. So I could see Asipi possibly not even going to the minors and filling that hole, you know, directly. And then Hunter Harrison to, you know, kind of platooning with him. Or, you know, one of them staying up to fill in that role. Because as of this point, with the lack of players or the inactive players that they have, any sort of active player on the roster would probably be better. And then it looks like in the outfield, they do have a good outfield, one of the best, you know, home run hitters in the league with Vic Thunder. They have Marcos Gonzalez in center field, the man who never errors and catches every single ball. Actually, let me just take a look to see if he did make any errors last year, because I don't want to lie. Let's take a look. He made 2 errors last year, but he's one of the best center fielders fielding-wise in the league. And then they also do have Godfrey Bowman. So it seems like right now, you know, the outfield is pretty stacked, and that, you know, we could see that just from the draft as well, that they focus primarily on, you know, filling out those pitching, regular remaining starting pitching roles, and also, you know, filling in those holes with the inactive people that were playing in there.
Yeah.
So it looks like we finally did receive word on the pick for the Vandals, and it looks like they are taking the one and only relief pitcher in the draft, Corey Bradford, selected 19th overall.
Very nice.
Yeah. So like we mentioned before, in regards to, you know, the trade, it could have definitely been some sort of you know, if that trade would have went through or whatever was discussed, if the Salts were looking to move down, Corey Bradford, you know, picked right after, you know, the Salts wanted to do that. So it looks like it may have been some sort of, you know, conflict where they didn't want to trade, and maybe that's why it fell apart if they were both looking to get them. And
yeah,
I mean, well, I guess we'll have to take a look to see if anybody does anything from here. you know, I mean, it's always possible, you know, that the slots could try to move up in later rounds if they want to try to give up a player, but I feel like that trade may be dead, or any sort of trades in regards to that will probably be dead at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, good luck to Bradford. Welcome to Vancouver. Hopefully, it is nice over there and they treat you well. The GMs are nice over there and they will treat you well. I know that.
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive. I've talked to them a couple of times. They seem like nice people. Max is a very nice person. But you know, we'll. I mean, I don't want the Vandals to do well because I'm on the Voyagers, and I don't want anybody to do well because I'm on the Voyagers. But that's just because I'm on the Voyagers. But
Yeah.
I mean, everybody feels that way about their teams. You just want your team to do the best that they can do. But congrats. And now we have more back-to-back picks coming up at this time. 2 back-to-back picks for OBX. Yeah, the Aviators to pretty much close out the 4th round because of picks that were forfeited due to salary. So it looks like, you know, the draft is finally like dwindling down. We don't have any more relief pitchers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 starting pitchers left. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 infielders and 2 outfielders left. So at this point, the way the Aviators drafted before, you know, they got Alyssa Elliott with the 2nd pick, and they took you with the, you know, the 3rd round pick for second base. I could see them going any direction really. Let's take a look and pull up the Aviators and look at their team. Yeah, like I mentioned before, their starting pitching is pretty much phenomenal right now. They got Philip Thompson. They signed Ewan Walsey. Mookie Banks has been pretty much phenomenal as well. Ace Faulkner, still a little bit rough, but he is, you know, pretty young into his career. The more that he, you know, does, as long as he stays active and, you know, gains the TPE, the better he'll get. And I feel like that'll be a, you know, starting rotation that could give a lot of people a problem no matter who they're playing against. Those are 3 really phenomenal pitchers that they have. Also, they do have, you know, a lot of good infielders. They have, you know, Webster, who's, you know, recently moved over to first base, playing in there. He's doing really well. You got Connor Tanner, who's also been doing really well the past season. He had a 2.3 WAR and hit 23 home runs. Definitely a good season for him. And then their leadoff man, you know, Kenny McCormick as well. The ability for him just to get on base, his average alone is a 327. But then, I mean, his OB on base percentage is 400. The man knows how to get on base and can steal really well too. And, you know, if you're able to get him on base and get a stolen base early in the game on second, then, you know, it's going to be pretty easy to get some runs in. And then in the outfield, it looks like they have Jordan Von Matt, they had Kellen Buchanan, Jimmy Caliburn, and Jake Stanton all playing in the outfield. It looks like probably their weakest point of their game would be their outfield. Out of those people that were listed previously, only one person has a positive WAR, and that's Jake Stanton. It's a .2. The other 3 are negative 2.3, negative 0.9, and a negative 1.5, and that's all out of 100 games played. So,
yeah, I could see them picking up one outfielder on these picks, and taking into account that 4 of their 5 outfielders are basically inactive or something.
Yeah.
At least they look like. At least one looks like to be inactive.
No, yeah. It's hard, especially with the outfield too, because especially fielding wise in the outfield. That's the thing, is that like you can, as an outfielder, if you can catch a ball, that's great. But if you can't like cover the ground for a ball that's in the gap, then the double turns into a triple, and that's like even worse. And if they're able to get like a good active outfielder out there, somebody that is willing to put the time in, take the TPE, just do everything that they can, then they'll be able to definitely limit people on base, people moving the bases as well, and hopefully also hold people on base if the person does have a strong enough arm. So we'll have to take a look and see, as the Aviators are still on the clock, and they do have, like I mentioned, the next 2 picks right now.
Yeah.
So let's take a look. And in regards to the Aviators, it looks like Jordan Von Matt recently has updated, Jake Stennett as well. And, it looks like the last time we did have people, looks like Jimmy Caliburn, the last time that update would have went through was in September, so about 2 months ago. And it looks, and Jake Stennett, not Jake Stennett, I'm sorry, Jimmy Caliburn. I always get confused. There's too many J's. But, yeah, once they're able to get like a good outfielder, like you said, because Jimmy Caliburn did start 100 games, and he had the worst WAR pretty much out of all of them at a negative 2.3. So if they're able to get like a good young outfielder that is active and that wants to play for them, that's awesome to them, and good luck. And it looks like we did receive a pick from the Aviators. So the 20th pick of this draft is going to be catcher Jasper Clayton, being drafted 20th overall. Now,
interesting.
Yeah, this is an interesting pick. I mean, the Aviators have a really good catcher in Billy Benson. Definitely one of the better offensive catchers as well too. So I find this pick interesting in that fact, pretty much because they have a catcher like that already on the team. The thing is that with the catchers is that they're not always able to play every single game because of the way the sim works, and they need the rest days. So it could be that they're looking to try to platoon him and put him in as a backup for days when he needs rest.
Maybe.
Or possibly as a DH, like the Voyagers do use. Pretty much, Nate plays catcher, and then Laddie McFantashire plays DH, and then when Laddie's playing catcher, Nate DHs. So it gives them those off days, so they're able to rest. So I can see that happening, especially with it doesn't look like they do have a lot of excess players in one position where they could play them as a DH. And compared to the outfielders that they do have, it looks like only a few of them did well hitting wise. Only 2 of the outfielders that did play over the 100 games batted over 220. So hopefully, I think they're trying to look for a bat and trying to give Billy Benson a rest as well. So hopefully that all works out for them. And congrats, Jasper, being drafted to the Aviators. Hopefully everything goes well with you over there. And
indeed.
Yeah. So now we're back up to the Aviators again. Now, at this point, I feel like we already talked about it. I feel like they need an outfielder, and there's 2 left. There's Tristan Cameron and there's Joe Cole.
Yeah.
So I mean, if this pick isn't an outfielder, then I lose all hope in humanity. I'm not sure what to do.
And hope they pick the better one.
Yeah, that's pretty much it at this point. We just gotta hope for the best one that we can. But
indeed.
yeah. So yeah, and then there are plenty of other infielders left as well. I mean, I don't think they would draft Recycle Bin. That would be, that'd be pretty ballsy. If they did draft 2 catchers back to back, I think it would be really funny if they did, but it wouldn't be helpful to the team at all. So
that's true.
Yeah, but and there's plenty of starting pitchers to go around as well. So we'll have to take a look and see what's going to happen with that, as they're still on the clock for right now. But you got any thoughts besides those outfielders? Possibly who else might go there? Go as this
maybe the the Dana Piper is an interesting name on the list.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, like only first baseman in the draft class, being I don't know, semi active, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Something could be a maybe like for if you need rest for your players, would be maybe a good pick.
No, yeah, that definitely is a possibility. We'll have to, we'll have to take a look and see.
Yeah.
As of this point, I do apologize. I have something that I need to do in real life really quick. I do need to step away from the computer. I do apologize about this, but I'll be back. So if you want to entertain people, you're more than welcome to do. Okay, I do apologize. I'm sorry.
Okay. Hello, everyone watching the stream. I don't know how many of you are in here or how many is watching, and whoever's in the chat, please say hello and tell me your player name. Hype. Too bad you couldn't draft me as for the second Yosu. I'm very disappointed. Hi Moose Cup. Such as I know. Okay, so Yosu is from Slots and Moose Cup. I don't remember. Yeah, Pass had to do something IRL stuff. I think he said he will be back soon, and that I need to entertain you. I'm new. Okay. Thomas Beautiful. He had to do. Yes, exactly. Thomas, are you happy that you got drafted to the Scorpions? And for you, Muscap and Yosu, how are you? How are you thinking the draft is going for you, your team? How do you think the draft is going? Are you happy with your picks? Was there anyone you would have hoped to get but didn't get? You know, hashtag leaks with Snusu. And yes, so my player Kachiboya got picked to Aviators as 14th overall. Very surprising. I wouldn't have guessed at all that. That sounds sarcastic, but isn't sarcastic. And yeah, I don't know what to talk about. We got very nice. You had very little. Excuse me. You had only 3 picks, and I think you picked very well, considering you had only 3 picks in the first 3 rounds. As for Vandals, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks. Crabs had 0 picks. Hello, Mav Fata. Is your boy Snusu here? As the official substitution for Paz. Entertainment, not paid. Yes. I love this part of the commentary. Yeah, I know this is the best part. And the actual commentator is away and the substitution comes in and doesn't know what to talk about. Doesn't know what to talk about. Indeed, this is the best. But hats off to you as someone new know this. I know. Oh, I think Pats is coming back in. I think I heard something.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, sorry about that. I just had to do a family thing really quick. I do apologize.
No problem, man.
Yeah, so how's everything going? Anybody start riding yet because I left?
No, not that I think of.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just had to step away for a moment just to do family thing. So it looks like, let's take a look to see what is going on with the pigs. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so it looks like for the 21st pick, actually, there wasn't any sort of selection, and the the Aviators decided to pass the pick.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, like we mentioned before, definitely thought, just to get the outfielder just to get the outfielder at this point, it's somebody. Definitely seems like something that they would have needed and possibly could have used. And I guess we'll have to, take a look to see what happens from here. And now it looks like we are back up to the Vandals. And, sorry about that. Yeah, so we're up to the Vandals now. Vandals have a lot of picks left. I mean, they had a lot of picks before. They took a relief pitcher, two starting pitchers, and two infielders already. So at this point, they already almost have a team just from this draft. So
yeah,
I mean, the best thing to do, I guess, for them, since overall last year, it wasn't the best. I could see them going pitcher. Putting them into the bullpen at this point because they really don't have much of a bullpen compared to, what happened last year with Bennett moving and everything like that. And, I mean, they have Chuck Gamble. Chuck Gamble's good, but besides that, I mean, you kind of just, you're throwing the game out there if you're putting somebody else in it, and especially if it is in the middle of the game. Chuck Gamble's not going to come in and pitch like 4 or 5 innings. So we'll have to take a look and see what's going on. And with them, like we mentioned before, they have a really good outfield, but it's definitely more of an infielding, which they did fill those needs in already. So it definitely seems like they're focusing most likely on the bullpen or filling up the last holes in their starting rotation.
Yeah. They could pick someone that's active. I don't know how many of the remaining pitchers are actually active.
Mm-hmm.
But let me. There is Brock Lobster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think he would be a solid choice. Could be a solid. Yeah. Or Prickly Pearboy.
Yeah, it seems like either one of those choices would be pretty good, and looks like we did receive confirmation on the pick, and it looks like you were right with one of those two choices. It looks like Prickly Pearboy is going to the Vandals, so I mean, Catchy Boy thinks you're doing good, so I mean that's all that really matters, right?
Yeah.
So congrats, Pearboy. Good name as well. I enjoy the name. So
that's a really nice name.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very much like your name. It has the boy, but it's not Boya. He hasn't joined the Boya family yet. So
Yeah.
you gotta send him an invitation.
Need to soon.
Yeah. So congrats, Prickly Pear, going to the Vandals. It looks like there isn't many picks left. 6 rounds, only got 3 more picks. We got 4 more picks in this round, and we already had our first pass. And usually, once that pass happens, there seems to be a wave of passing that kind of just occurs. So
yeah,
we'll definitely take a look and see, what's gonna happen from here on out. So it looks like. Give me 1 second. Oh. Yeah, so it looks like next up we have is the Aviators with the 26th pick. So
yeah.
What do you think?
They might pass.
You think they're gonna pass again? I mean, that definitely seems like a sort of thing that most likely would occur because they passed previously. So
yeah,
let's take a look and see if we have any word about that.
There's it wouldn't make any sense pass a round and then pick in the next round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yeah, it looks like they've passed again. So
yeah,
copy that and paste.
And it seems like we have Nameless Net in the chat as well.
Nate?
Yes.
What's Nate saying? He's saying things. What's the team?
Yeah,
they lose.
Who said once team passes, they lose all the rest of the picks, and then Nate responded with a approval or something.
No, well, Nate's head office. He knows more than me. Thanks, Nate. Thanks for showing me up in front of 14 people. Real nice. What a nice guy. No, I love you, Nate. You're a good guy. So, yeah. So
he went inactive on SHL.
You went on inactive on an SHL, Nate? Don't worry.
Actually, he retired. He went inactive and then retired.
Oh, wow.
As a rookie.
Yeah, so you screwed them up even more, man. Nice job.
God damn it.
Couldn't even let them keep the player. No. Nate's a good guy. I like Nate. So I guess then there's no point of even asking what the Aviators are going to be doing because they're passing for the rest of the draft. So now we're up to the Voyagers. Voyagers drafted Tristan Cameron, 3rd round. We got Colton Hagan in the 2nd round. 1st round, we got Joshua Linton. We got pitcher, we got infield, we got outfield. Most likely, probably going to go for... I guess we could go for a catcher, especially since Nate just called me out. I mean... We're always looking for a backup, I guess. But, yeah, we do have 2 catchers. But, so it may be that, we might not go for a recycle bin. I could see us going for, another, pitcher. Definitely, I feel like pitching need is always going to be a thing. But there's also a lot of need for infielders as well. Especially if you're going to be looking to rebuild or, just trying to strengthen your team's depth even at this point. That's pretty much what I feel like a lot of these rounds are. So, we'll take a look. Let's see if there's any news about the Voyagers and their pick. So, yeah, it looks like we have received news in regards to the pick. And they do have a pick. And it's going to be Leo Robert, 3rd baseman, selected 27th overall to the Voyagers. Congrats, Robert. Welcome to New York. Hopefully everything goes well. Now, I don't know why they keeps on doing that. Don't do that. But, kind of, I don't know. I'm not really that surprised by the pick. It makes sense, I guess. We do need, corner infield, 3rd base, 1st base people. and we drafted Linton before, which kind of filled the need for the the infield for second and shortstop. So Leo Robert makes a lot of sense. I guess that I think Moose Cop and Ryan Stryker know what they're doing now, so I trust them somewhat. So yeah, so the next pick is going to be for Death Valley Scorpions. The Scorpions previously had a pick that was forfeited. They selected a center fielder. They selected 2 center fielders, both Thomas Beowulf and starting pitcher Frederick Birdington. I didn't realize at the time until right now that they selected 2 center fielders, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. I mean, Death Valley has pretty good outfield as it is. They have Speedy Boy, they have Jimmy Dong, and then they also have Kevin Biggio. All 3 players who are starters. Speedy Boy this was his first season up in the majors last year. Did pretty decent. I mean, he's still active, he's still earning, so as long as he's doing that, he'll get better. And then they also have a really good infield as well. Like I said, they have Min Jun Do, they have DeStefano, they have Buck Shank, and they have Ziggy Coffey. So it's it'll be interesting to see what they do with this pick. I wouldn't be surprised. I probably see them going with a starting pitcher at this point. Because it looks like, they have Damian Wallach, but, their 2 best starting pitchers are Victoria's Secret and Anna Justin. The female power hour, pretty much. So, I'm surprised. What I'm really surprised about, though, is that they didn't go for Alyssa Elliott, make the female trio. But,
oh, yeah.
But, maybe another time. No, but,
yeah.
I mean, Victoria's Secret and both Anna Justin did really well last year. Victoria's Secret went 13-7, had like just above a 3 ERA. Even in the stats below in the cards, they finished 3rd overall in team statistics for earned run ERA and then opponent average. So, I mean, they're in the top half of the pitching, doing even better batting wise. So I feel like maybe this will be a need to fill in the pitching to, try to bring up those statistics and, make a further push for the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mavhatha said in the stream chat that Death Valley refuses to let any player go undrafted. So we won't be seeing passes from them.
Good. I like that. Your player does deserve to get drafted. That's a good thing. The more players we have, the better the league is. And it looks like we have received word in regards to their pick as well. So it looks like for the 28th pick in the 5th round of this season's Season 8 draft, Lewis Robertson, 3rd baseman, is going to Death Valley. Congratulations, Lewis Robertson.
Congratulations.
Yes. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of the picks now, they're not very surprising. I feel like they are more just like depth needs. I feel like the most surprising pick, as of right now, probably it's not really a pick, but surprising that Asipi Jr. did fall as far as he did into the 2nd round. I thought maybe he would have been like a 1st round talent, maybe like a late 1st round, early 2nd round, but being like 9th, I was not expecting that. I don't think a lot of people were until pretty much the draft did start and by the way it was going. So
that was really a big surprise.
Yeah, that was a big surprise. And
that screwed a lot of people's mock drafts.
Yeah, that definitely did. So I do apologize to everybody that put him in the 1st round for missing out on that. And also another big another big surprise about this draft was the trade. I feel like a lot of people weren't expecting the trade to happen. And the Sloths, I feel like the Sloths did really well this draft, trading to get that number 5 pick. to get Ulysses Rove from Providence, and pretty much Providence hasn't really done anything in this draft because of that trade. And because of what occurred in the third round, like I said, I still don't have any word on what did occur, but hopefully Providence will be able to make some sort of pick to pick up somebody, because as of right now, it's not looking really good for them.
Also, I think a shocker for many people was, at least before coming into the draft and while making the mock draft, many people forgot about Barry Keller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it is. A lot of people do kind of overlook a lot of players in these sort of drafts, especially with the PBE and how it's set up on like the website and everything like that. It's it's hard sometimes to keep track of everybody, or just to even contact everybody. Even like you mentioned yourself that you weren't even contacted by every every team out there. It's I respect the GMs for the jobs that they do and the way they run the teams and everything, and it's just like sometimes it's just certain things just like go right by and you don't even realize it. So hopefully nobody takes anything to heart, and it's just everybody's just enjoying themselves. So hopefully we'll see what's gonna happen with the Crabs. Hopefully they can make a good pick now, and I mean, from what it looks like they were skipped again. Yeah. I don't know what's going on, and hopefully it's not some sort of issue with some sort of internet or something like that, because
that would suck.
Yeah, that really would suck. So hopefully all you Crabs fans out there, just stick with us right now, and hopefully we'll get some word about what did occur and make some sort of announcement, hopefully later, or maybe the Crabs we'll take a look. Now, with only a few more picks remaining, we get the slots coming up with the last pick in the 5th round. So at this point, I feel like a lot of teams are gonna be passing. Like the Aviators, there's 2 picks right there that are pretty much automatically passes because of what happened previously. So hopefully it's not an additional thing where everybody starts passing at this point. So I mean, there are good players left. There's not many players left though. There's Brock Lobster, CJ Henderson, Justin Frey, or Fry, however you do say it, Alex Olaf, 4 pitchers. A lot of the infielders are gone. We only have 3 left. We have Jackson Howard, Dana Pineberg, Recycle Bin, and then we also have the 2 remaining outfielders, Tristan Cameron and Joe Cole. So, I mean, we'll have to take a look and see what the slots do go with as of right now. I feel like as of this point, with that prior rumor about them trading, I feel like they kind of missed out on the player that they wanted. I feel like maybe they were trying to go for Corey Bradford but couldn't trade down, or didn't want to waste that pick, or maybe they wanted somebody else, like I mentioned, from the Aviators or the Vandals, that they weren't able to get during the draft. So we may see some moves before the season does start in regards to a trade with either one of those teams, and I wouldn't be surprised.
That's true.
Yeah, for either somebody in this draft or somebody on the teams. We'll take a look and see what goes on from there. And it looks like we received word that the slots have passed as of this point. So it's going to be another pass on the board. Yeah. So now it's going to be the start of the 6th round with the Vandals on the board. The Vandals, we got 2 more picks left. Maybe they'll be the team to break it, picking somebody. We got a skip and a pass, and hopefully they'll be able to take a player. So we'll take a look and see what's going on. And it looks like we have received word for this as well in regards to this pin rather quickly. And it looks like it was a pick for starting pitcher CJ Henderson, Shaggy28. Congrats, Shaggy28, CJ Henderson.
Congratulations.
Yes. It looks like the draft is, starting to dwindle down now with only about 8 picks remaining. And, well, right now it's just like I feel like a lot of the teams are just trying to get like the best player available at this point, and just trying to fill out the squads and do whatever. And now we are up to the Voyagers because the Aviators passed previously. So Voyagers, I don't know what they're gonna do as of this point. I hope they don't pass. Is definitely one of my favorite sims. And did this stream? It looks like the stream went down. Do you know if the stream went down? Because for me, it looked like it crashed. Stop. Whoa, what happened? Okay. Are we still good? Because it showed that it crashed for a second. I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. I thought it looked like it was some sort of... Okay, I'm good. Okay, I don't know what happened. The screen kind of just went black for a second, and it showed that I was still streaming. I'm sorry. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what happened. A little technical difficulties on my part. But, yeah, it looks like we're back now. And it looks like, you're hoping that the Voyagers were done, and then it ended it. Oh. Yeah, I don't even remember what I was going to say. I'm sorry, I have a horrible memory. But, from what I'm looking at, it looks like we have received word in regards to the Voyagers. The Voyagers have drafted somebody, and it looks like they have drafted starting pitcher Brock Lobster, who was mentioned before by, Catchy Boy. So, and you said you liked Brock Lobster, or that people were kind of sleeping on him. Is that what you were saying before?
Like he seemed to have pretty okay TP and stats. Like I was gonna guess he would have gone in maybe in the position of Pairboy or CJ Henderson.
Okay. No, yeah, I definitely see that. It's as of right now, it's it's kind of dwindling down. So
yeah,
there's not many people left. So hopefully we can get some people and see exactly what's going on. So it looks like the Vandals are on the clock, and it looks like we have received word that the Vandals are going to be passing in the last round. And it looks like, based on previous discussion, that, the Aviators don't have the choice, that they're passing no matter what. So we are left with 4 picks. So it looks like the Voyagers are on the clock as well because of that pass, pretty much right after they drafted Brock Lobster. Every time I say that name, I just want to say Rock Lobster. So thank you. I don't know who made that. The Lob Man. That's who it is. And but yeah, we got 4 picks left in the with the draft with round 7. So it looks like, let's see if there's anything going on with the pick for the Voyagers, and it looks like the Voyagers have finally decided to use their pass. for this for the draft. And now we are up to the Death Valley at this point. Death Valley has not used their pass, so they are up to take a spoiler. The spoiler. I'm reading the chat. Thanks, Mav. No. They are up to take a player at this point. So, I mean, there are plenty of players left. But we'll definitely have to take a look and see. I mean, before I do anything, slots passed before, so they can draft. And you know, it looks like there was some problem with the crabs with the drafting, so it looks like we have multiple picks coming in from Death Valley, like it was mentioned before, that you know they wanted to make picks. So we have a lot of picks coming through right now. So with the 40th pick, they took Julio Hightower III. I remember somebody in the chat saying that they loved the name. I don't remember who that was. I'm sorry.
I am Clownfish. That was his player is Thomas Beowulf.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember like I said before, for some reason my chat crashed, so I can't look to see what's going on, so everything just reset on me. And then it looks like because the crabs were skipped before, that the only team left is pretty much just Death Valley drafting, and it looks like they have multiple picks coming in. And yeah, and Death Valley also took Joel Cole, left fielder. And that's going to be the 46th pick. And then... So pretty much, Death Valley is drafting everybody else that is left on the board with the 40th through 46th pick. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say the names, and I'm going to edit this sheet so I can upload it. And I can kind of in the stream, because I've got other things to do tonight. So I'm just going to say the names for everybody out there, and I'm going to edit this stuff. We'll upload it, and we'll put it out for you guys soon. So 40th, they took Julio Hightower III. 46th pick, they took Joe Cole, left fielder. 52nd pick, Justin Fry, starting pitcher. Alex Olaf, starting pitcher. 58th pick. 64th pick, Dana Pybird, first base. 70th pick, Jackson Hazard, second baseman. And last but not least, Mr. Irrelevant, which is kind of mean to say, but that's what it's called in football, so we're just going to use that term. Recycle bin catcher. Congrats, Recycle bin. Congrats, all you guys. Congrats, Matt, for drafting all these.
Did they draft Tristan Cameron?
Tristan Cameron? Trish Cameron. Let me see.
Oh wait, no, never mind. You forgot to erase that name, or like.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just saw it in the. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
Never
I mean.
Mind.
Did I forget to do that?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I did. We drafted him. The Voyagers. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah. So that is everybody. Everybody in the draft pretty much was drafted by Death Valley as of this point.
That must be some kind of record or something.
Yeah, this has to be a record. I haven't seen anything like this ever before. Congrats to all the players that were drafted. Welcome to your new homes. I hope you all enjoy the experience for the pro baseball experience, the PBE Sim League. Catchy, I really do appreciate you staying with me. It's been an honor talking to you and talking about the draft. So hopefully you have a great time in Outer Banks and you meet some good people over there. But
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. But you'll still probably, hopefully you might be with us. I really don't hope that, but you know, if you ever come back down to, Alcatraz, I'll be there, okay?
Okay.
Have a good night, everybody. I'll talk to you on the forums and on the Discord. Congrats to everybody that was drafted again. Peace out.